Today I'm going to show you on a DSCR loan how most people are losing money and what you can do to avoid that. So what does DSCR stand for? The reason this is so popular is because this type of loan, there is no income check and no tax returns. You don't need to show that to the bank to get approved for this loan. As long as you got at least a 680 or higher in some cases, you're going to get approved. And with that comes a larger down payment. This is how the banks are going to underwrite the deal to get it approved. They're qualifying the house a little bit more than they're qualifying you as a borrower, which is different than your traditional buying a home to live in for yourself. So they look at the PITIA to see if you're going to qualify, if the house is. They're looking at what's the principal payment, what's the interest payment, what are the taxes on the property, what does the insurance look like, and association dues if there's any. This is the criteria that a bank's going to use to determine if this loan gets approved or not. So let's look at a real life example, and I'll show you what DSCR actually stands for, the acronym. So let's say you find a duplex for $350, you're putting 20% down, that's roughly $70,000. The loan amount you're taking is $280,000, that's the debt, so that stands for the D in the DSCR. Let's say your interest rate is 7.75, it just varies right depending on credit situation, but let's say that's a fixed rate over 30 years and your loan's $280. So the principal and interest payment on that is $2,006. The taxes and insurance on that is $720, and let's say the association dues are $50. So the PITI, that's the debt service, is $2776. What does that mean? It means that you've got to have at least a 1 ratio, meaning the duplex you want to buy has to show it can at least produce $2776 in monthly rent. But that's not a safe way of underwriting a deal. Let's say you're a little more conservative and you're looking at a 1.25 ratio. You would multiply that by 1.25 and it tells you you need to look for a duplex that brings in at least $3,470 a month, which sounds good on the surface, but this is where people lose money. Your spread, also known as cash flow, on that deal is $694 a month. Most people would say, man, I'm making $694 a month on this rental. That's a great deal. And the bank's gonna approve this loan all day long. But here's where people are losing money. This is the problem. You need to underwrite it a step further. The bank's not gonna do this for you. You've got to do this as the investor. You've got to factor in vacancy rates. A simple Google search will tell you duplexes in San Antonio are between 7 to 15% vacancy rate. So let's go right in the middle at 10%. Maintenance on a duplex is about 1.5% of the value of the property. And then capital reserves, for a multifamily like that, you want to be putting $100 aside for each unit every month. So let's look at this deal now. The gross annual rent is $41,640. Where did I get that number? Don't get lost. Stay with me. We got it from right here. Multiply that by 12. That's going to give you your annual rent. The debt on that thing is $33,000. That's what you're spending every year to cover the loan. And then you've got maintenance, reserves, and vacancy. So when you do this, you're net negative at the end of year one, $3,492. You literally lost $3,492. So is this deal a loser? Let me show you how you can turn it around to see if it actually could be a deal that you would consider. I'm not telling you to do this or not to do this. I'm showing you what most people are overlooking and why I think there's going to be a flood of properties coming on the market that investors are losing out on them because they didn't underwrite them the correct way. Let's look at this deal over a 5-year horizon to see if it's actually a loser or if it's a deal that you could consider. And at the end of this video, let me know if you would look at this deal or not. Over 5 years, you'll have paid down anywhere from $12,000 to $14,000 on the main loan. You'll have paid an interest about $108,000. And I'm going to come back to this because you can write off your interest as a deduction on your taxes against your W-2 income. Over 5 years, thinking that the property appreciates 1 to 2% a year, you'll have gone up $30,000 to $35,000 in appreciation. You're losing money every year cash flow wise. So over 5 years, that's about $17,460. This is an estimated tax saving because remember, you're going to deduct what you're paying in interest here every year. So depending on your tax bracket, it's roughly going to be about $23,000 in savings over a 5-year period. So now let's add all these up. It's appreciated, the property, you've paid down the principal $13,000, so that equals equity. You have equity in the property. It's appreciated $32,500, which also means now you have more equity. You've saved on your taxes roughly $23,000 against your W-2 income. So you're saving that, you're not paying that to the IRS. And you've lost $17,000. When you add up all those numbers, your net wealth has gone $51,360 positive. So let me know in the comments, would you consider a deal like this if your net worth would grow by 51,360. If I missed something, if I overlooked something, let me know, leave it in the comments. I'm curious, what would you do? Would you buy a DSCR house with this?